best boxing podcast in the world.
Call the cops on a mission to be champs since they let me free. Prepare for combat, my adversaries crumble. Face it, I got a reputation for damage. Busters get ready to rumble. They lock me in a cell, have me trapped in a living hell. Though not guilty, I'm still in jail. Brother, I serve my time like a soldier. Maintain composure. My shadow boxing the fight to the death, busting boulders. Every boxer with a pair of gloves. Best give up love. Here's a man from the makings of a thug. A lethal weapon, mind sharp. And in my heart, there's a wish to shake the world with the flurry of my black fist. Now once a high school dropout, now I'm the $1 million champ. Who's the next to get knocked out? Straight out of Brooklyn and worldwide.
What's going on, everybody? Another episode of Cheap Seats Box Show. Angelo here, running solo. It is vacation time, baby. We told you guys this is how it's going to be for a little bit. Me and JP couldn't get together. Yesterday was our one and only shot. So today, I'm going to take the reins. First things first, follow us on Twitter at Cheap Seats Box, iTunes, rate, review. You will be the next unofficial sponsor. Like, repping 501 from Central Arkansas. I'm going to guess that Little Rock area. Could be Hot Springs. I'm going to guess Little Rock just because it's bigger. Thank you. This is your show. You are the unofficial sponsor. Repping 501. Be like him. Go on there, rate and review. Leave the comment. Just rating it. I'll never see it. I'll just know that somebody else rated it. Give us the review. I'll shout you out. Make you the unofficial sponsor. We always appreciate everybody who does that. Welcome to everybody on every platform out there. Go ahead and subscribe on the YouTube page. I got some plans. I want to do a trial run pretty soon here, I think, with some quick shows on camera. All right, let's just get right into it. Last weekend, the one fight that we were all going to talk about, Jose Ramirez versus Danny O'Connor. Well, I'm glad we didn't do the show because it wouldn't have mattered because Danny O'Connor didn't make weight. Now, this brought up a lot of controversy. I saw a lot of people on Twitter going back and forth. And I get it. We don't have to make those sacrifices that these fighters do. We don't. I understand it. But to say that for people to act like we're not allowed to critique them because they don't do what is required of them as part of their job is making weight. It's not our fault that these guys all want to be at weights that are so unnatural that they damn near have to kill themselves to get there. That's on them. That's the job. That's the job they chose. Nobody said you have to be a boxer. They chose to do that. This is the job that they chose, so it's on them. You know, it's like when police officers are assholes and they're like, well, you don't understand, that they have to deal with. Yeah, we understand the people that deal with. That's what they fucking signed up for. If you can't handle that part of the job, then you shouldn't be doing it. And if you're a guy who can't make your weight, then that's not what you should be doing. I know this guy was only a part-time boxer. That's part of the problem. But a lot of the problem now is these guys are so unnaturally big for the weight they're fighting at. That's why this is so common nowadays. Something needs to be put in there needs to be more than just a 30-day weigh-in. There needs to be, if it's going to be, especially a title shot, man, then these things need to be 8 weeks out, 60 days. 60 days, you got to be within 15 pounds of the weight. I don't give a shit. This just makes people fight at a more natural weight, a healthier weight, right? The only reason people do this is to try to get an advantage. But if they all had to do this, well, guess what? Then maybe they're not fighting at 147. Maybe the same guys at the same size are fighting at 154, something a little bit closer to more natural. And if everybody's playing by the same rules, then everybody's going to fight at these weights that are more close. That's the only way you got to do it. You have to protect these fighters from themselves because they're always going to look, in any sport, everybody's going to look for that advantage, that edge. And how do they get their edge? In boxing, weight. There needs to be an 8-week weigh-in. There needs to be a 30-day weigh-in. I don't give a shit what it is. I don't care how close you think you have to get to. Whatever is healthy. And then every sanctioning body must implement the morning after weigh-in. They need, or, and here's the thing with the post, the post weight, weigh-in day. The fight won't get canceled, but you will get stripped of 25%, 35% of your purse if you don't make the stipulated weight based on percentage the day after, like the IBF does. These things have to be implemented because what they sell, probably 13,000 tickets. I think 10,000 ended up showing up. 13,000 tickets sold, and this is the reason that so often these fights still go on, because the tickets have been sold, money has been dished out. The problem was O'Connor had to be hospitalized because of dehydration, and so you damn near put a whole card out, and good for them for making the rest of the card go through. But it kind of messes everything up. This is Jose Ramirez's first title defense. And that got pushed back all the way to September 14th. They want him to fight the day before Triple G and Canelo rematch. We'll see who it is. There's been names out there. Antonio Orozco is on there. They're just different names. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Hopefully it's somebody better than Danny O'Connor. But that being said, I saw other things out there this weekend about this Jose Ramirez fight. People linking him somehow with Gilberto Ramirez. Look, I understand their both last name is Ramirez, but they're the same fucking fighter. So when you say, oh man, Ramirez, you stop fighting these bums. This is the first fucking bum. He just won the title. Almost everybody gets that one freebie. Look who Regis Prograis is fighting this weekend. Juan Jose Velasco. He's got an interim title. You say, oh yeah, but Ramirez wouldn't fight me. Okay, so that was the best fight. That was the best fighter you could get after that. Come on now, it works both ways. If Ramirez was fighting the bum, then why is Prograis fighting the bum? If fighting the bum is so awful, then why is he doing it? Well, he wanted that fight. Okay, well that's fine, and he would have got that fight, but he chose to go to the way of the World Boxing Super Series. His prerogative. He's going to make way more money doing that. Good for him. That's what he should be doing. He's not selling any tickets. He had to get Mark Wahlberg and Peter Berg to try to help him sell tickets. He's not a ticket seller because he hasn't been brought up in his hometown in New Orleans. I mean, hell, he fights here. He trains here in Houston. So good for him. But you can't say he's choosing to fight bums, and I knew he'd never fight me, when you never push to have your mandatory invoked. And this isn't the WBO, so Arum doesn't have the foothold in the WBC like he does in the WBO. So push it, make him make a decision, and then you have grounds to say that they didn't want this fight. But just saying, well, look, he's fighting voluntary, which most people get the voluntary. Yeah, they say a purse bid was never ordered, a purse bid was never pushed for, nothing was made, no push to make the mandatory defense against Prograis was pushed by Prograis people. So, and he chose to let Arum put him on ESPN and headline him. This was the whole point of putting him there, was to build for something else. That just being said, when people were talking about he's been fighting bums, no, Gilberto Ramirez has been fighting bum after bum. This is Jose Ramirez's first title defense. Everybody gets that pass. I've given everybody that pass on that first one. Now, if it's followed by a second one, I will be criticizing like I do with everybody else. Everybody gets treated the same here on this show. That's what this whole show's about. We get around the fandom and just get back into facts. Yes, I do like Jose Ramirez. Why? Because I'm from the Central Valley. He's from the Central Valley. It's a very small area where nothing comes out of. And just for geographical purposes, it is not Southern California. It is not Northern California. It is the central part of California. The Central Valley, people. It's not Northern California. It's not close to San Jose or the Bay Area. It's not Southern California. It's not close to LA. 3 hours away from both. It's right in the smack dab in the middle. of where everything happens. And that's why it's a farming community. It's a high crime, a high gang area. The whole valley is like that. And that's why we stick so hard together. But I will still criticize when the time comes and the time is right. Time was not right for this fight. September 14th, still he hasn't got to defend it. I won't criticize as much. Second fight, second title defense, I will criticize. I don't give a shit. Everybody is treated the same. Speaking of being treated, the same Maurice Hooker going on that Broner style title run. He just won the title. Going back home, he's in Dallas. He decides he's going to get drunk. He decides, I'll drive. And he hits a cop. And then the pileup happens. Which is a 3-car pileup after that. Not a good way to start your title reign, Maurice Hooker. Get your shit together. I think he had a gun on him, which he legally has the right to have on him, but not when you're impaired, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. We shall see. Danny Jacobs, Sergey Derevyanchenko. The fight has been made. The purse bid was avoided. The deal was made between Lou DiBella and Eddie Hearn. This fight will be happening in October. I think it's a nice fight. I thought the Derevyanchenko and Triple G would have been a nice fight. I'm one of those guys. So let's keep it straight. Uh-oh. Like I was saying, though, I will stay consistent. I like that fight for Triple G when it was Derevyanchenko. I like it with Jacobs. Now, people who were all poo-pooing it and saying, what does this guy bring to the table for Triple G? He's only, 12 fights into his career, his professional career. What resistance was he going to show for Triple G? Well, then you got to have that same thing. You can't go then and say, well, him and Jacobs is going to be a good fight. You just can't make that argument if it was such a bad fight for Golovkin, because Triple G and Jacobs had a razor-thin fight. One way or the other, 7-5, 6-6. It was one of those type of fights. This was a very close fight. So why is this not this? This is another good fight. So if it was a bad fight for Triple G, then it needs to be a bad fight for Jacobs. If it was a good fight for Triple G, which was my opinion, then this is a good fight, and I think this is a great fight. We'll get to it when we get there, but I really like this matchup. I think for a vacant title, it's hard to get much better than that. Usually, it's usually a really good fighter against fighter. A lot of times they're trying to give away a vacant belt. Speaking of Triple G, since I mentioned him about the Derevyanchenko fight, lot of sound bites coming from Abel Sanchez. And I get it. Him and Canelo don't like each other. I get it. That's fine. They're entitled to that. But Abel Sanchez, and I put this out on Twitter, is climbing my pound-for-pound rankings of guys I never want to hear from again. I really do want him to just shut the fuck up. You're a trainer. Shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear you. I want to hear you as much as I want to hear from every other trainer, which I don't. Especially when it comes to stuff like this. Now, I say that I don't mind hearing from trainers when they're talking about the breakdown of the fight and what they're doing in training camp and how they're approaching the fight, game plans and everything like that. I'm all for that. I want to hear that stuff. But when it's a back and forth talking shit to another fighter, it's just like, no, I don't want to hear that shit. He just talks too much. If it's Golovkin making these remarks, that's one thing. But for Abel Sanchez, look, the rematch has started. You're not building it up. More people ain't buying it now because you think you're building up the fucking tension. Or maybe you just have a personal issue with Canelo. I just don't want to hear it. I was the same way with Virgil Hunter. You want to talk about the fights, that's one thing. But you want to get a conspiratorial about everything, that everything is racial when a black fighter is talked bad about. It was just like, no, I don't want to hear that bullshit. I just don't want to hear shit like that. Especially when it's just, oh yeah, it's just what I think. When it's clear cut, look, things need to be said and statements need to be made. That's fine. But when it's just like, oh, I just believe that one, we know how Virgil is sometimes. Tell me about the fight. Tell me about how training's going. You're a trainer. Other than that, I don't want to hear shit. If you watch the NFL, do you really want to hear the fucking offensive coordinator talking shit about the fucking opposing quarterback? No. I want to hear that bullshit. Abel, shut the fuck up. I never click on those videos, but I just see what people write on top because I'm like, I don't want to hear this bullshit. But on Twitter, your timeline gets filled up with all this bullshit. Just let it go. I'm done. Manny Pacquiao coming back this weekend. Lucas Matthysse for the WBA regular. Let's just be honest. That really easily could be for the WBA welterweight title. Seeing how Mr. Thurman never fights and defends it, it could easily be for the full title. Going to be on ESPN Plus. I still won't buy it. I'll watch the UK feed. That's what it's a beautiful thing. This is a tricky fight. Matthysse is past his prime, but not nearly as past his prime as Pacquiao. Pacquiao is an overall better fighter than Matthysse. But the area of which they are over the hill, respectively, kind of balances the fight out. But based on how, and I know it's been almost a year now since Pacquiao fought Jeff Horn. Maybe it has been a year. I don't even know. There's still enough left, I think, in Manny Pacquiao to take out a guy like Lucas Matthysse. I think he can get to him early, which will be everything because Pacquiao is not a full 12-round fighter, not a 3-minute per round fighter anymore. But he can get to people, and I think obviously he hits harder than a Victor Postal. We saw what Postal did to Matthysse. He damn near stopped Horn in the same round that Crawford actually did. And Crawford comparing himself to Manny is like, you don't want to really compare yourself to damn near a 40-year-old over-the-hill Manny Pacquiao. But that kind of shows you how much is still left in the tank of a guy like Manny Pacquiao. So, give me Manny Pacquiao. Everybody wants a stoppage. I don't think it's going to happen. If it does, he ain't going nowhere for a while because that means he's going to get that title. And if he gets that regular title, look for Keith Thurman to really want to come out of his quote-unquote retirement, because it's not, but whatever the fuck it is. I'm going to go with Manny Pacquiao in a tight, no, this is in Malaysia, in a wide 117-111 victory for Manny Pacquiao. I think he'll win 7 or 8 rounds. I think he'll deserve the victory, but seeing how, where it is location-wise, I think every benefit of every doubt's going to be given to Pacquiao. And then we'll see where it goes from here. Would he fight a guy like Keith Thurman? I don't know. Maybe. With as inactive as Keith Thurman has been, you might. You might actually go for it. And there's money to be made there. But we shall see. Give me Manny Pacquiao. A little bit wider than I think the fight will be. 117-111 on average on those cards. A little bit of news today. Everybody's talking about a contract has been signed by Anthony Joshua. I don't want to talk about this very much, but, the fact is, Anthony Joshua supposedly signed. Eddie Hearn said this, so, take it for what it was worth, and it's probably not worth much. Has agreed to fight Deontay Wilder in April, which pretty much goes along with what most sound-minded people would tell you, that fight was not going to happen until 2019. Stay tuned. But let's get into this part of it. And I've kind of made mention of this. Stop paying attention to what happens on Twitter. Negotiations on Twitter are not negotiations. Negotiations on Twitter are nothing more than promotion. Plain and simple. It's free, easy promotion. It's different putting on a promotional thing where you got to buy commercials or try to get your face on ESPN or do some interviews. There's a lot of time that goes into it. But, a 30-second tweet, it just gets people going. It's free, easy promotion. Hell, we have a president here who did that. He said, you know what? The people will fucking fall for this shit. Eddie Hearn does the same thing. This is the WWE in 2018. You know what I mean? You had to have gimmicks back in the day for wrestling to get over. And nowadays that gimmick is Twitter and boxing to get over, to get people talking, to get things stirring, to get the promotion started. Make no mistake about it. Anytime you hear people talk about negotiations on Twitter, they're not serious. Go back to the Triple G Canelo rematch negotiations. You were hearing people report it. Except for fucking De La Hoya, because I don't know. I mean, he's not even part of negotiations. Let's be honest. He's a figurehead. He's the head guy. He signs off on shit, but he's not the one doing the negotiations. Eric Gomez wasn't going back and forth with fucking Tom Loeffler, talking about, just calling each other out and saying one was scared of the other and the other was scared of the other. It wasn't going like that. When the negotiations got down to actual negotiations, it was all reports. Reports say this. Reports say we're not going to go over 42 points. But it wasn't like it is the back and forth where Deontay Wilder and, for whatever reason, Steven Espinoza and what's his name, the MMA guy, Brendan Schaub, are going back and forth with Eddie Hearn. It's just not like that. And you never hear Anthony Joshua say anything. So those things are never real. Don't fall for it. We will see if this April 2019 thing is legit. We'll find out soon enough. But don't fall into it. Don't buy into it. Just take it for what it is. It's promotion. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. But don't get worked up over it. All right. I'm going to cut it off there. Nice and short. 25 minutes in and out. Me and JP, probably in 2 weeks, people. Probably in 2 weeks. I'm going to be honest with you. I think he's on vacation next week because I'm coming back and then he goes on vacation. So 2 weeks, looking for us to be together. Maybe get a little show in between. We'll see. We'll see how things work out. Like we always do, follow the show on Twitter at Cheap Seats Box, iTunes, rate, review. You will be the next unofficial sponsor. Like our boy, Reppin' 501, who said, we have a great show and the undisputed GOAT of intro songs for any boxing podcast, which honestly, it's not just that. The outro song is just as good. Anytime you got Tupac talking, rapping boxing on either side of the show, the intro or the outro, doesn't matter. It's great. You know it. And that's why he took his time out to rate and review, to keep that show noticeable. We appreciate you. We shout you out. We thank you for the love. It is reciprocated. You were the unofficial sponsor of this one. I know it was a short one, but trust me, you got your shout out. I always appreciate anybody who wants to do that. So be like him. Do that. You'll be the next unofficial sponsor. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I got some plans. I kind of want to do something. And on trial period, I'm going to work. We'll see how this goes. But I need them fucking subscriptions to go up. Hit that subscribe button on there. Just go to it. Hit it. I don't even care if you listen to it. Well, I kind of do. Just hit play and let it run. I don't give a shit how you do it. Just get them numbers up for me, and I will reciprocate the love by putting out some live short videos during the week on topics, a kind of a news style type thing. The news of the day. I think I'm gonna try to start doing it. That's what my plan is. So thank you again, everybody. And remember, this is where the fighters fight and the fans commentate. And you know we do it just like you from the cheap seats, because we ain't buying no tickets, goddammit. Peace.
Again, I'll be the next heavyweight champion.